All right, let's go. Welcome to eCom Raw Reality episode 15. And in this one, I want us to talk about why AI is your assistant, not your replacement. So, right now, when I'm actually filming this, 31st of March 2025, there's all of this hype around the new things that AI can do, specifically ChatGPT with its new model, let's say, or more enhanced one, which is generating very quick and well, I would say, built pictures, art of a very well-known style, which is from the studio Ghibli or Ghibli. I'm not the most technical at this part just because I haven't watched any of their animes or cartoons or movies, because they are actually a mix. They are a different style, and you might have seen on the entire internet, you can just Google Ghibli style ChatGPT images and the whole internet is full of them, right? And this is to some extent a distraction, right? It's fun, it's helpful for friends and so on, but it's not such a big help in business, right? Until you think about the use cases of using those image generators for ads, for example, or for emails, for something that generates value, money, income, right? And let's take a step back now and think about AI and why it's not necessarily a replacement, right? Because many people worry that AI can do this faster than me, better than me, and it kind of will take my job. Well, the thing is that it won't take your actual job as much as it will take the time that it takes you to do something, right? And ideally, that's not the only thing that you know, right? Because, for example, when you are a designer, when you design something, right? Think of it like this. You design something, but are you also the person who actually thinks about what he designs or she designs or what they design or not? Because if you don't think, well, that's the problem. You would need to think, right? That's one skill that will never go away. Thinking critically, strategizing. And that's why even in this series, right, there are so many things that I'm mentioning. It's because sometimes there's just one or two things that you'll hear and it will click with you, right? And that's the only thing sometimes that you actually need to find something new that you'll eventually incorporate in your life. It could either be supplementing with something, right? And this is, for example, how right now I'm actually taking around 20 supplements. I didn't start with 20 supplements. It would be like overwhelming all of a sudden. However, I've slowly listened to different podcasts and tried different things. I've tried 50 supplements over time. I've tried to see what's their effect, and I've kept the ones that are helpful and I haven't the ones that are not helpful, right? And to some extent, it's the same with AI. Some things that AI does, they are useless. Some things are useful. Same in the job market. Some people you might employ, they'll be more or less like useless for you. And it could be a lot of reasons, right? Maybe you weren't giving them the right training, you didn't communicate properly. So there are so many things, right? And this doesn't disappear with AI all of a sudden. It's not like someone will right now find the best type of communication to solve all of the problems when it comes to the actual communication problems, because this is what business is about. Think of it like this. Consultants are paid 100, 200K, 300K sometimes or more if they are senior and so on, just to look at data and then tell you what to do with that data. That's all. They can look at a screen for 1 hour or for 50 hours. It doesn't matter actually, right? It's just probabilistically more helpful. But if you think about it, it's all about that 30 or 60-minute meeting that you have after all of those hours of looking at data, right? So this is why actually AI isn't necessarily taking anyone's job, just because you still need someone to actually prompt it. You need someone to direct it. It's true that right now everyone is all about AI agents and so on, but let's be real, it will be very slow. Like, you have so much time. You have 10 hours a day in most cases, right? If you don't have a job, you have 10 hours a day. If you work, you still have 6, at least 4, let's say, right? In most cases. You have so much time to actually always learn new things, right? Like, for example, even myself, probably the image for this video, the thumbnail will be me and some kind of robot besides me, right? Because it's about AI and making it an assistant for you. So don't think of the assistant of that robot that you have in your mind as a replacement, because even the Tesla robots, right? Eventually they'll come to life, and by come to life mean that they'll come to the market, right? And you can buy one and they might help you, right? For example, in my case, it might help me actually setting up, let's say, the studio, which is not really a studio, right? It's just like the chair, putting it where I need it to be, putting the camera on the desk, preparing the, let's say, microphone, getting it out of wherever it is around here. And that's it, right? It's small incremental improvements. And this saves you time because, for example, right now I have 2, 3, 4 hours more per week because I don't go shopping anymore, right? I use an app that does the shopping for me, and that saves me around, let's say, 3 to 4 hours, right? And I pay for that $5. And most likely, if I would work during that time, I would make, let's say, $300, $200 maybe, right? At, let's say, $50 an hour, right? Which is, in most cases, it's not that much if you think about work that's about strategizing, right? About strategical moves. $50 an hour is actually decent. So that's one of the worst case scenarios, right? I mean, even 25 or 15, just like a McDonald's employee, right? Then you still have a net profit because you gain 4 hours, but you don't go to the supermarket anymore. It's true that maybe you would like shopping and so on and moving, but that's a whole other thing, right? If you want, you can just like go out for a walk, but also stay on your phone and do some work, right? And it's a win-win situation actually. So this is where it's really important to look at what's happening, how you can take advantage of it, and by how, well, you just need to use it. There's no way around it. If you want to get bigger muscles, you have to go to the gym and actually lift. Yeah, you can take, let's say, steroids, but you still have to lift. There are some studies showing that if you take steroids and don't lift, you'll get bigger, but it's not actually like real muscle, you know? So in most cases, you can't really cheat. Even Ozempic, like it will get the weight off you, but that doesn't mean it will stay off you, right? And actually, even in the US right now, there's a high cost for that. So you're still paying. You're always paying with something. You're paying with time and effort. You're paying with money, and for that money, you actually paid with time and effort, right? So that's why it's really important to look at what your activities are during the day, and especially right now with AI, this is where 1 hour of your time, your input, can mean 10 hours, right? Because even myself, I'm pretty sure that right now I'm not maximizing, right? And think of it like this: if you have maybe 1, 2, 3 employees, if you have an agency, then you have your time, which might be 40 hours, let's say. Then you have their time, which might be another 20 hours per person. And if you have 2 people, it's like another 40 hours. So you have 80 hours a week. And then if each of you uses AI and you can multiply your time by around 2, then you have 160 hours a week, right? And this is how value is created. You still need to input time. You need to input time in some way or another. And even the AI models, they do, especially if you use Claude, for example, and see how it codes, how it tries to make a few graphs, it takes it some time, and sometimes it actually hits a limit. So resources, I wouldn't say they are scarce. There's an abundance of resources, but still, you can pay 1 cent for electricity a month. You can pay $1 for heating, $1 a month, right? Per month, right? So it's still some mix of supply and demand. And right now, what I think we're still missing, as always, is just people focusing on the right things. And we know if we look at our activities, what are the right things. And for example, learning is not one of them. Learning just for the sake of it without implementing isn't that. So to actually be practical, I would say use models. Even myself, I've started to use in past 2 weeks models like Claude, even though it's not something that I would need to. It's not something that necessarily I see the benefit right away. But if you learn slowly, that's how you get small improvements, right? And this is where 1% improvement all the time gets you very far. That's how Elon Musk actually grew, right? He just made a lot of improvements along the way, each and every day. And in most cases, he didn't make just 1% improvements. He made way higher, 100%, 200%, right? For most of us, that won't always work, right? There's a limited amount of opportunities out there, but that means just that you might hit the limit at, who knows, 10K a month, 50K a month, 100K a month, 1 million, 100 million, depending on the industry, right? It's all about the industry, because depending on the vehicle, you will get faster somewhere or slower, just like taking a plane or a car from point A to point B. So the only difference is the vehicle. And we might talk more about this at another time, but I'll end this just by saying that, just like I started this video, AI isn't here to take your job. It's here to enhance it, to be your assistant. And actually, many of us don't even know how to use an assistant, a virtual assistant, because maybe we haven't had one, right? So that's why it's really important. This is a skill. That's why some people are more effective. They've acquired some skills by actually doing them and seeing the small things that matter, right? Because right now I'm working on some emails with some of my team, and there are small details that need to be fixed. If you don't fix them, and if you let them there, that's how you decay over time, right? Like if your arm hurts and you never go to the doctor just because, all right, that's not a big deal, right? If everything is not a big deal, eventually it will become just because you have so many small things that do become a big deal eventually. So that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, you can leave a like, you can comment, and until next time, peace out.